In a bath or in a bar, in the kitchen or in a car, you'll find a great 208. The rock and roll swinging station of the stars. Yeah.
And now to a gentleman who started his career with the Station of the Stars in the mid-60s. His name, Dave Christian.
Have you ever seen such a colorful magazine? When you read it, you'll agree it's great. It's always fabulous to
Get your double delicious eye makeup. It's free in this week's Fab. And there's more goodies too, like Donny and double page colour for your April coloured, and Miss Ben Murphy in king size. Oh, what else have we got for you? Well, there's personal words from Donny and David. Don't miss Fab fashion and beauty spots. Favourite regulars too. Romantic stories and Fab's new Luxembourg news called 208 Mirror. It's all in Fab now, just sixpence. Baby Love, three lovely ladies from, I believe they come from Detroit, actually. And they're called the Supremes, and that's a song which I hope is going to put them in the 208 Top 20.
That's John Bonham belting skins, and this is Mr. Jimmy Page of Led Zeppelin. I want to tell you about my story. With an extract from the new Atlantic album. I'm disclosing no names, but... I'm disclosing the fact that the LP is called Houses of the Holy. And it's about time you placed your order. Zeppo! Zeppo! Okay.
Record on the program from Freddie and the Dreamers, a brand new song.
Understand just how you feel.
Now to a name never to be forgotten. He's everyone's favourite jock.
Stuart Henry.
Well, he also pulled a #1 record on this radio station, David Dundas, with Jeans On. Coming from his album, just so cleverly called David Dundas. All right, I got a little clever competition, which we've got 5 sets of headphones given away, courtesy of Chrysalis Records. All you got to do is answer 2 simple questions, and they really are simple. I mean, which article of clothing is David Dundas connected with? You got to get that. So stick that down. And what was David Dundas's second hit? Ah, so difficult, baby. You're never going to get a headphone free unless you can answer these 2 questions.
Who's there? Foreigner! But you're too early for this week's live 7-Up music machine. What? On my doorstep? Well, we superstars get a bit nervous, you know, but you'll make out.
Foreigners, they're all the same. Occasionally, disc jockeys came to the Grand Duchy and couldn't settle into the way of life. One such person was Roger Twiggy Day, the thinner record spinner. Quote,
#1 in the top 20 from Radio Luxembourg. Don't forget the top 20 show with Paul Burnett later on this evening, between 11 and 12. That's Tommy James and the Shondells. And Moni, oh no, stop moaning, will you please, madam? The Sunday edition of the Roger Twiggy Day Show. Very holy today, that's right, yes, we've got them in my hot socks, you see. Holes, that is. Anyway, hope you can join me when I rejoin you on the airwaves at 7:30 Monday evening. Till then, be good, be careful, may the sun keeps smiling on your face, all that sort of thing. Somebody might even smile back at you one of these days. You never know your luck, do you? I'll be thinking of you. Spare a little time to think of me. Don't have too many nightmares thinking about me, will you? So next time you see the name of the Finner Record Spinner, Roger Twiggy Day, be warned, beware, and most of all, you be there. Bye bye!
Radio Luxembourg.
In 1973, Tony Prince had an exclusive interview with the late, great John Lennon. In the interview, John had a very special request for none other than the Queen.
Talking of Her Majesty, I think it's about time the Queen gave me a pardon.
Do you want your MBE back?
No, I want a pardon
What for?
for that. Being buffed in England, that's what the cause of the whole problem here.
That's why you're over there. Well, no, that's your...
The whole immigration problem.
I see. Okay, well, maybe she's listening, John.
So listen, Your Majesty, I think I've done more good for Britain than harm, so you just give me a nice pardon, okay, and then I can travel round again.
Radio Luxembourg.
In 1975, it was time for another new voice on Radio Luxembourg. Chris Carey, soon to become a household name as Spangles Muldoon.
I actually went out to do, I think, 4 weeks relief news reading. And then I actually became the station manager after about 4 months. And then a couple of years went by and I actually loved the whole thing. When I first went to Luxembourg, the engineers played the records and we'd be the other side of the glass waving our arms. And, it was very skillful to do this. Gradually we persuaded the Luxembourg engineers and RTM as a whole that we could do it ourselves. We weren't going to break all the needles and wreck all the equipment. And so gradually, for the first time, we gradually started moving in to being a little bit more than just speakers, as they used to call us.
I know you're pleased to see me. Peter Frampton's pretty pleased with himself as well. He's such a polite fellow.
Maybe I love your way.
Another big name in the 70s was the wild and wee Mark Wesley.
I started in 1971. It was April. And then I left in December 1981. And that was 10.5 years. But it was a fabulous 10.5 years. It was one long, continuous game. We had some fun. There were some fabulous people there. I joined a brilliant team of guys. Great broadcasters. Kid Jensen, Bob Stewart, Dave Christian, Tony Prince, Paul Burnett, and we were very, very tightly knit. I mean, we were a real group of broadcasters that felt confident about what we were doing. We felt we were doing something that was great fun.
Mark Wesley! Girls, whatever you wear, your face is still there. You won't help your spots by hiding them from people. You might lose a few friends, but you won't lose any spots. But what can you do about it? Teenage skin produces far more oil than normally because of all the changes you're going through. And facial oil is a good breeding ground for the bacteria that cause blackheads and spots. So you need help. The sort of help you get from clear, colourless, proper pH lotion. Still, with the same trusted formula, it keeps your skin free from oil. So the bacteria have nothing to live on. It literally starves spots to death. It won't show with or without makeup, and it works quickly. You should notice the difference in just 3 days. Don't suffer. Go to your chemist and ask for Proper pH in the big value bottle. Proper pH. Starves spots to death. 58p.
The magic of the 70s on Radio Luxembourg. Now, sometimes the DJs were asked to do more than just present programs, like reading the news. And we had our own style in doing that as well.
This is Radio Luxembourg, the big noise in Europe, AM, FM, and worldwide shortwave. Here's the news.
From the resources of Britain's top daily newspaper, the Daily Mirror, 208 International News.
The 3 American astronauts have gone back to work in the orbiting Skylab despite lingering space sickness. But a spacewalk, now planned for Wednesday, may be further postponed. A 10-month-old baby boy, snatched from the Bristol clinic, has been found by children lying on damp grass at the rear of the clinic. See Tuesday scene in today's Daily Mirror. The weather word for Great Britain, dry with sunny intervals. The occasional rain is also forecast in the north. Expected high, 23 degrees centigrade. That's 76 degrees Fahrenheit. This news compiled by the Daily Mirror News Desk, dateline Tuesday, July 31st, 1973. Bob Stewart reporting.
208. The rock of Europe.
208.
Come on and feel
in the 70s, but the Bay City Rollers weren't really newsreaders.
First over to Woody with Stuart, who has got the latest news. And tomorrow's DMA, find out where Engelbert Humperdinck asked for police protection from the IRA, and why he offered $25,000 to an ex-girlfriend.
You've got lost, haven't you? You've lost it. I don't believe it. It's Royal Daily Mirror. Find out why Engelbert Humperdinck asked for police protection from the IRA and why he offered $25,000 to an ex-girlfriend. The man who knows the lot now tells the lot and tells it in the Daily Mirror tomorrow. You see, you could have read that after all. Anyway, it makes a really interesting Daily Mirror. Let's see if we can do better on the weather word from Mr. Derek Longmere.
Thank you. Well, tomorrow's weather word for Great Britain is going to be dry with a few sunny spells. A little rain or drizzle later in the day in some areas. Expected high is 14 degrees centigrade, and the London editor was Peter Howlett.
Very good. Well, that was the weather for Scotland. For England, it's going to be dry and rainy or something. Anyway, that was the news and weather from the Daily Mirror news desk. Look out for tomorrow's Daily Mirror because exclusives. Next news comes in 1 hour from now. That'll be at 10 o'clock. We go into the power play. Right after that, back to the Bay City Rollers. Woody, Derek and Pat in the studio with me. Stand by for much more on Big L.
208 Power Play. So heavy I wanna be free. So heavy I wanna be free. So heavy I wanna be free.
10cc, the power play, and good morning, Judge. 6 minutes past 10 on Big L, and that's Central European time, 6 minutes past 9 in Great Britain. We'll be back right after this commercial break.
There's more Super Guys for you to collect in Fab. Tim Matheson, Les McEwen, Fonzie, and many more, all in Super Colour, and all in part 2 of the Fab 208 2-hours with the Super Guys. Also in Fab this week, Starsky and Hutch and the way they like to dress, the Rollers alive and well and still ruling. How to smell nice and get the right scent to suit you, and your lucky news and program guide. For more news about Fab, phone the Fab hotline on 012616782. That's 012616782. Fab 208, out now. Peter has a very serious side to him when it comes to modern pop music.
Yep, absolutely fanatical about it. Fanatical about new music, fanatical about new British bands, very pro-Britain. We are the market leader in the world. When it comes to music, we are the most important power in the world, and I just want to see it keep going that way, because what has really worried me has been the American invasion recently, and the lack of youngsters actually picking up guitars and playing them again. There was a time when every 13, 14-year-old used to pick up a tennis racket and play in front of the mirror at home and say, I'm going to be a rock star one of these days. I don't think that's happening so much now. So anything that I can do to keep the whole British music scene going, I will do, and that's why I've been so involved in so many new bands over the last 5 or 6 years. During my time in Luxembourg, no doubt, the Bay City Rollers were the biggest thing around, and I still hear the screams in my ears when I shoot them on that mammoth time. They were front page of every national newspaper for 1 week. I don't think even George has done that, or Wham. And none of the modern big hysteria bands will ever touch the emotion, the adrenaline, the excitement the Rollers created. I think when the Osmonds and Cassidy were very close, but the Bay City Rollers, for a short period of time as it was, just created a bigger turmoil, a bigger disturbance, a bigger fan mania than I will ever see again. And I don't think it's in the minds of the people who buy records to go and let themselves go the way roller fans used to. Everyone's just a bit more adult, a bit more mature. Believe it or not, I actually bought jeans which matched their jeans when I introduced them on the stage. I mean, I can't believe I did it. I did. But it was very... can you just imagine how exciting it was to be a relatively new DJ, to be accepted by the band of the time and the fans of that time as being the sort of closest contact they could get other than the band. And the amount of letters I received and everything had an outstanding effect on me. And I don't regret a single minute of it. Otherwise, I wouldn't be talking about it now. So I think it's quite fun to be able to stand up and say, look, I was a roller. There it is. That's the power play on Radio Luxembourg. The sound of 10cc. And good morning, Judge. good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be listening to Big Al, whether it be in Scandinavia, in West Germany, East Germany, in France, in Belgium, in Luxembourg, and especially you in Great Britain, Ireland, and everywhere else. A very, very special program tonight for the early show for Monday, because as I said earlier, coming over on the plane with me, 3 members of the Bay City Rollers. Their very first radio interview for 6 months, and what's more, the exclusive of the brand new single that they've just released. I would like to say hello to Woody. Hello, Woody.
Well, Peter, how you doing?
Really good to see you out here, mate.
Thanks very much.
We got a lot to talk about tonight, okay?
Right.
So just save your breath and we'll get into it. Derek, how are you?
Fine, thanks.
Good evening to you.
Thank you. Good evening.
And we'll talk about the horse riding a bit later on. And Pat.
Hello, Peter.
I've been threatening to bring you out to Luxembourg for about 6 months now. I'm glad to have you here.
Oh, thanks.
Okay, stick around, lads. I think what we're going to do, we're going to listen to the brand new single, the very first time you've ever heard it back at home. This is it, from the Bay City Rollers, It's a Game.
The night is still and the moon is high and the stars are softly glistening. You think the world is fast asleep, but the world is really listening to the great 208, the ring-a-ding swinging station of the stars.
Johnny Walker Show on Radio Luxembourg, starting off with Elvis Costello and Radio Radio. Hey, it's a Wednesday night. The Walker from San Francisco with you on 208. It's you and I together until 11 o'clock. Wednesday night on Radio Luxembourg, Brian Ferry, Let's Stick Together. And the Johnny Walker Show back with Jackson Brown in 2 minutes' time.
Radio Luxembourg 208. From Johnny Walker, who inspired a lot of today's radio stars, to Mike Reed, who because of Radio Luxembourg was inspired to write poetic verse.
Bedtime meant radios under the sheets, listening to Beatles and Mersey Beats, Underground and Flower Power from 7 o'clock to the witching hour. Our ring-a-ding station of the stars, blasting through bedrooms and beaches and cars, with the legendary jocks who made it great. Radio Luxembourg 208. The classics, oldies, pop and rock. I'm on this Sunday at 10 o'clock.
On 208 meters in the medium wave at 1439 kilohertz, whichever way you look at it or listen to it. Coming up at 2:30, the Night Owl spot, in which I pull 2 or 3 letters out of the big Night Owl sack. And if you'd like yours to go in there, if you'd like to say hello to somebody at 2:30, then all you have to do is drop me a line. It's Mike Reed, Night Owl, Radio Luxembourg, London W1. Okay, your name and the name of the person or persons to whom you would wish to say hello. And don't forget to make it fairly concise and also fairly clear. Mike Reed, Night Owl, Radio Luxembourg, London, W1. And here come the Temptations.
Each day through my window, I watch her as she passes by. I say to myself, you're such a lucky guy.
Of all the wistful songs I think I've ever heard, that one is definitely the most full of whist. Made the top 10 back in the spring of 1971. The Temptations, it was just my imagination running away with me. And I'm going to be running away just for a couple of seconds. I'll be back in a moment with Genesis.
Radio Luxembourg.
Radio Luxembourg has always had the knack of employing tomorrow's superstars. And once again, we got it right when we employed Steve. And even in those days, chaos prevailed in his studio.
Due to a number of problems, both physical and spiritual, Brian rarely goes into recording studios these days and hasn't been making records very much for nearly 15 years. So it was quite a surprise when in 1975 he agreed to help out another Los Angelian, Johnny Rivers, when Rivers cut a version of the Beach Boys' 1965 hit written by Brian, Help Me Rhonda. This isn't it?
I'd like to be
What? Yeah. Help me, Rhonda. Oh, help me, Rhonda. Help me, Rhonda. Ooh, help me. It's a different version.
I'd like to teach the world to play. Station of the 80s, Radio
big buddy of mine in the Grand Duchy was Rob Jones, but arriving in Luxembourg wasn't at all what he expected.
When I joined Radio Luxembourg, I was 21, and I'd left home for the first time. I'd lived with my mum in Liverpool, so this was the first time I was away from home, and that was a big moment in itself, leaving home and going to live in a foreign country. And I remember being picked up from the airport on my very first day by Bob Stewart. Bob said, "You ever been to Luxembourg before?" I said, "No, I haven't actually, Bob. It's the first time over here." And, I'm not sure you're going to make it. No, I'm ready for the challenge, this, that and the other. And he was just testing me out to see if I was going to make the grade with him. Being on Radio Luxembourg was really the ultimate one-to-one experience. Because when you work for other radio stations, if you're on in the daytime or something like that, you may be in a supermarket, you may be in a shop, you're a bit like the tanno at a football match. But being on Radio Luxembourg and being on a night as we were, and having the 208 signal, which we all know was not the best signal in the world, meant that anyone who was listening to you was making a commitment to really listen to you. And I never, in all the other radio I've done, I never got as much of an experience of one-to-one that I got on Radio Luxembourg. When I talked into the microphone, I really felt like I was talking to that person under the bedclothes, that person on the M1, that person on the A1, that person sitting alone at a lonely station guarding a factory or whatever. And it was an experience and a feeling that you can't get anywhere else.
Brand new single from Kate Bush. It's called Sat in Your Lap. Mine preferably, and here's Ben. Hi Ben.
Hello.
Do you like Kate Bush?
No.
No?
No.
Oh, well, I tell you what's funny. You're from Holland, aren't you?
Yes.
Well, I played that the other night, and I was woken up 9 o'clock the following morning by the Dutch radio. I don't know what it's called up there, but they rang me up at home, no less, and said, and just the accent you've got, they said, is that Rob Jones? We heard you play a record of the radio last night, and can you send us down the telephone? And they wanted a copy of it. It hasn't been, yeah, it's true, it hasn't been released. I innocently played the record, and I get woken up the next morning by all these radio stations ringing me up. It's a shocking state of affairs, mate, I tell you. You're from Leiden, or Leiden, right?
Leiden.
In Holland.
Yes.
And tell us all about yourself. What do you do?
I work on the airport, Amsterdam.
Amsterdam Airport?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. What do you do down there?
I clean the airplanes.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, good. You get a lot of airplanes in there, don't you?
Yes.
What's the worst aeroplane to clean?
Singapore Airlines.
I wasn't asking for an airline, actually. I meant a type of aeroplane. But why is Singapore bad?
747.
Oh, big 747, yes, that's the biggest. But why Singapore Airlines?
That is full cleaning.
It needs a lot of cleaning, does it?
Yes.
Is it true that some of those airlines don't even have seats in, they just make people sit on the floor?
Yes.
Now, a lot of people think that is a joke, but a lot of the airlines going out to some of the more exotic parts of the world and certain religious cults, they won't sit down, will they?
No.
They have to sit on the floor, and it's absolutely true. I always wonder what they do when takeoff, though. If you've got like 400 people in a 747 all sat on the floor with no seatbelts on, as it goes up, they must all roll to the back. It's a lovely thought. Benny Brown.
It's time to say hi and hello and good evening once again. Benny Brown back in town on your radio after having had Jones take care of business for the last little bit, you see. Jonesy, did you on purpose leave me with a Friday the 13th? You'd forgotten all about that, hadn't you?
No.
It is.
Oh, no.
It is Friday the 13th, Hoss. Now, if you think that's bad, don't let it shake you. There was a time when Jonesy was running around with a lady who mistakenly took anti-pollution pills, right? And today, that same woman has 6 months stagnant.
Texan Benny Brown, another Luxy legend.
You got it easy listening into the night. Radio Luxembourg.
And now to someone who always likes to make a spectacle of himself. Timmy Mallis, a member of the early 80s Luxy lineup.
Everybody's always known Radio Luxembourg. It's always been there at night time. It's synonymous with, you know, getting ready, going for bed, and listening to the radio under the bedclothes. And a lot of people have been talking about that, but I remember it really, really strikingly when I was hitchhiking around Europe. And it was September 1975 or 6, and I was hitchhiking across to East Germany, and I was going to Berlin. I was standing by the side of the road, and you know, when you get a lift, you get into a general conversation with the person who picks you up, and a bit of chat going on. But this particular lifter picked up in Hanover, and he was a young German fellow. He didn't speak any English, and I didn't speak much to him. In fact, it was pretty much like, Guten Tag, are you going to Berlin? Ah, Berlin, yes. Yeah. And he had his little 2CV, little French de Chevaux car, absolutely chock-a-block with bags and stuff, so I was squeezed into the seat. And we set off for the border of East Germany. And as we got there, the bright lights are on, and there's the guards standing there with their guns, and it was quite an eerie, spooky moment, and it really was a bit scary, because you're coming to something that you've heard, and you're going to a communist country, and it was quite a nervy sort of moment. And as we travelled through the border and into East Germany, the only bit of communication the two of us had was the radio, which was switched on to Radio Luxembourg, which was booming out. It was such an exciting moment, and I remember thinking to myself, this is one of the this is probably the most magical thing about radio, is it crosses absolutely everything. A bird can fly over a boundary, radio can be heard, Radio Luxembourg can be heard all over Europe, and it was such an exciting moment. You know what the first record they played? ABBA, SOS, and I thought, what a fitting record as we're driving into East Germany. Ah, yes!
Where are those happy days? They seem so hard to find. I tried to reach for you, but you have closed your mind. Whatever happened to our love? I wish I understood. It used to be so nice, it used to be so good. So when you hear me, darling, can you hear me inside? The love you gave me, nothing that can save me inside. When you're gone, how can I even try to go on? When you're gone, though I try, how can I carry on?
It really felt part of the whole world. It really felt able to touch people's lives. And it's been a great privilege and a real thrill to work for Luxembourg, one of the all-time great stations. It's been utterly brilliant. Thank you.
Timmy.
Okay then, Groovers, I've just popped outside now. It's, 17 minutes away from 9 o'clock. I'm going to get myself some chips. 3 bags of chips I think I'll have. I'll have 14 eggs on toast. I could do with about 24 leg burgers, because I'm going to hop to it later. See ya. Right, okay, sorry about that. So I'm a bit busy getting these orders of chips and labours and the eggs in. Sorry about this. Right. Now, what's happening a little bit later? Yes, I'll tell you what's going on. About 9 and 10 tonight, we've got the Top Disco Top 20, and then, what? You don't know? You don't know who's on at 10? I tell you who's on at 10. Somebody else but not me, because I'm going home to bed. Luxembourg.
Do you remember the Boomcastle Boo? This is for you, man. Roscoe did his programs from Los Angeles, California with his LA connection.
Los Angeles, California, the Emperor Roscoe at long last back on 208 Radio Luxembourg. How are you, everybody? Got to thank Mike Hollis for those pearls of wisdom. What can I say, Michael? Thank you. It's so nice to be back. Ladies and gentlemen, we have got it all for you tonight, so hang on in there. Attention, mesdames, messieurs. Le plus beau, celui qu'il vous faut, celui qui marche sur l'eau est parmi vous tous. Sunday night on Radio Luxembourg. Give me some money. Gotta be the big message this year. Everybody wants a little bit of money. When times are tight, that's the name of the game. In any case, we got music, we got fun, we got just about everything. This is the Emperor Roscoe at your service.
Feeling low, you got no go.
Then be like me.
and drink some tea. Look up a while and let's see that smile on your dial. Well, over the years, we've had several tapes sent to us at Radio Luxembourg by Satcast superstars, and our next presenter is certainly in that category. One of the most creative, imaginative, original, and yet crazy presenters of all time. Let's listen now to a Christmas Day broadcast from Kenny Everett, and radio done the wireless wizard way.
And now on Radio Luxembourg, otherwise known as
Radio Luxembourg.
It's time for that show again. Ding dong, Maryland High, and all that kind of stuff. It's Christmas Day, so why I'm singing pretty rough. Dear Kenneth, you're wonderful and fantastic and cuddly and delicious. My dear, you're so right. She says I love you ever since you got fired. Oh, she also goes on to say that she likes my singing jingles. Oh, well, I'll sing you one then.
There is nothing like a jingle to brighten up your day. Nothing even like a jingle to chase your cares away. Oh, nothing like a sweet jingle of Luxembourg.
No, it's too much for me, that one. But lo, it's time for 5:45. Looking back upon the year of 1970, lots of groovy discs are staring back at me. But for one disc in particular comes easily to mind. I want you back by the Jackson 5. Now it's time for me to wish you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Yes, it's time for me to say have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And to all the mums and dads and aunties and kiddies and you and all, don't become too flushed this Christmas, but don't forget to have yourselves a ball. Bye-bye, everybody.
Radio Luxembourg has been celebrating success throughout its 59 years. Let's go back now to 1983 and remember some of the good things about our 50th birthday celebrations. 2 Little Threes make 33, and that's the number in our chart tonight for Derek and the Dominoes and Layla. It's 9 o'clock on Radio Luxembourg, and this our 50th anniversary. We go direct back to London now for the news. 208.
Radio Luxembourg News, Ed Stewart reporting. Tony Benn has been selected as the Labour Party's candidate for the Chesterfield by-election. Temperatures will reach 10 centigrade, 50 Fahrenheit. Compiled in London, this has been Ed Stewart with the Radio Luxembourg News.
Dave's got to say goodbye to somebody here.
Hello.
No, I said goodbye, Dave.
Oh, goodbye. Oh, no. What it is, you see, Russell Grant now has to go to work, I gather.
What?
To Lime Grove. I think it's the Chinatown area, isn't it?
It's not. I don't need sweet and sour off of you. Listen, no, we're about to go on strike. I mean, Ed has been reading the news so eloquently, so loquaciously.
Oh, thank you.
And he's been saying about the BBC NUJ, and in fact, we've got an NUJ meeting there. May there be no breakfast time. Who knows?
Are you in the NUJ?
Yeah, and equity.
I had everything.
Yes. And I used to go to ballet classes too.
Like Peter Dreadful. Come on, before you go then, because I was hoping to get a full reading. I want a Taurian reading, please.
Do you?
For 1984. Come on, give us a quick one.
Right, Taurian reading. It's a load of old bull.
You're going to say something creepy and crawly? No, not at all. Just for all us old and just... There's quite a few of us and around in the world still today. And just say thank you to Luxembourg for... I remember all the years of the sheets over the head and listening to the radio under the bed and all the crazy things we did and all the fun. Thanks, Luxembourg. Great.
You thanked Luxembourg for making music for the last 50 years. We thank the Wild Clan for making music, not as long as 50, but you have been making it a couple of years, so thank you very much. Look after yourselves. All right, we'll go back to our listeners' chart. And would you believe? Kevin Rowland and the boys, they're appearing. Dexy's Midnight Runners. 16.
Now let's keep jogging those memories with more from the 1980s on Radio Luxembourg.
Well, the time's closing in on our Marlboro Country Music Spectacular. And we hope you've enjoyed your stay. At Marlboro, we appreciate the best in country music. Live music from Nashville, Tennessee. Because it's music with a flavor all its own. So come join us again soon with Radio Luxembourg.
That's right, for 2 more hours of the most satisfying country music in the world, live via satellite from Nashville, Tennessee, comes the music of Marlboro Country. We'll do it again, Saturday, March 21st on 208, 10 o'clock GMT, 11 Central European Time. Good night from Nashville.
From the center of the DJ world, the planet's most exclusive Saturday night show. Are you on your marks? Are you ready? Let's go!
Welcome! 208 on a Saturday night, Tony Christie checks will make you feel alright. It's on at 7 p.m., so don't delay. Just get to a radio right away. Disco mix up the place to be. You get the funky rhythm from a man told me. So don't forget, it's on a Saturday night. He's the man who's doing it to you right.
Here we go again with a show that's a must. Lend me your ears and give me your trust. The 2MC is the DJ's world where we mix up the music for boys and girls. Start us tonight, it's time for a lesson. We go back in time, so we know messing. We'll mix up the soul. Drop us a bomb, don't know where you're going till you know where you're from. Hamilton writes in the Red Mirror. He's a jock in the mix, a real little terror. So what's that, sir? Go back in time and take us some memories of Solin's prime.
Dr. Soul's 60 Stompers, Part 1.
What's even better is that we know where you're at. The Top 30 Disco Report every Sunday night between 9 and 11. And don't forget the Top 20 Disco Imports compiled for Luxy by Groove Records every Friday, same time between 9 and 11. This is Young & Co., and I like what you're doing to me. A DJ's dream was to work on the Station of the Stars. Here's Rob Jones talking to Tony Prince on getting his big break.
Tell me about the day the contract began. How did you get your job on
Luxembourg? It was a wonderful moment. I remember listening in the summer of 1977 to Peter Powell, who we've just heard, resigning his post on Radio Luxembourg and saying that he was going to Radio 1. And I thought, that sounds like a good job to me. And I was on Radio City in Liverpool at the time. I thought, I'm going to have a go there. And I sent you a tape, Tony. Mm-hmm. And I heard nothing. And then you called me back, and it was a wonderful, wonderful moment. I had an interview on the 3rd birthday of my hometown station, and you said, we'll call you on Monday. And you called me on the Monday, and you said, Rob, you got the job.
There you go.
And it was the greatest moment of my radio career.
When I got the job, somebody mentioned Eggy Lay earlier on. He interviewed me and he gave me the job. I remember jumping and bouncing down the street and feeling 10 foot tall. I'm sure everybody who got a job on Luxembourg got
I had a wonderful moment. I had the same watch I have on today, and I knew I was going to get that job because I was walking home in the afternoon, and I looked at my watch and it said 2:08, and I thought, I've got that job.
Then there's the boy from Birmingham, Johnny Walker, on Making Planet Earth's biggest commercial radio station. A legend who is here, I'm delighted to say, and he truly is the DJ's DJ. He's earned that reputation over some very, very major moves in his career. Johnny Walker, welcome, John.
Tony, great to see you.
You too, my dear.
Mate. How are you?
I'm very well indeed. You know, let's just substantiate that statement I made, the DJ's DJ. I think you probably had more principles that you were able to adhere to than most of us would have had. You actually are the only DJ I know who resigned from the BBC Radio 1 and actually came back years later.
Well, I think the secret is for sort of sticking around is just now and again disappear for a bit.
We thought we'd lost you forever for a while.
Yeah, so my career has always been like that, because I was with Caroline in the early 60s, and then there was a gap, and then I worked for Radio 1 for a while.
That's right.
And then I'd always had this ambition that was fostered through the music I heard when I was growing up from the States. And then from the American DJs I worked with on another pirate station called Radio England, to work in radio in the States. So when I got the chance in '76, I just thought I'd go for it. And so I did 5 years in San Francisco. And that's really when I was doing programs in Luxembourg by tape.
That's right.
Back from America, and I was doing these shows recorded on the cable cars in San Francisco and stuff like that.
That's right. And Roscoe was also doing them at the same time.
There's a sweet irony, actually, in actually getting on the air in Luxembourg, because the first ever in 1965, I was working as a club DJ in Birmingham and met Don Wardell, who was doing a gig at a ballroom in Birmingham. And I managed to collar him and asked him how he could get a job on Luxembourg. And he said, well, I said, I'm desperate to be a DJ, you know, Don. And he said, well, he wrote the name down. He said, go and see this guy, but don't tell him I sent you. and that was Eggy Lay.
Oh, right, yeah.
So I called Eggy up and got a date for a test.
Yes.
And he said, bring down 4 records and 5 copies of a script. Well, I'd never written a script before in my life. Script? What's that? So anyhow, well, I went down and had a go, and the faces looked really bad behind the glass, you know. So I said, Eggy, don't spare me, you know, just tell me the truth. And he said, Johnny, he said, I'm sorry. He said, you'll never be a DJ as long as you live.
10:34 in Britain, 11:34 Central European Time. Thanks for tuning into Luxembourg. One of our featured songs on the Timothée Shampoo Show tonight from Johnny Hates Jazz.
And that's it. Compiled in London, Radio Luxembourg. News headlines at 10. I'm Benny Brown. We're into the top half. Radio Luxembourg's every Tuesday night award-winning, internationally renowned, and world-famous UK Top 30. Got the Gap Band, and someday we're all going to be free.
It's one of those groups headed by a lovely lady from the USA. Hard is the name of the outfit doing it for you. You featured it at number 29 with your all-important votes here at Radio Luxembourg. With the smash hits listeners chart of 1987. The name of the song was Alone. Now moving on, moving up and moving out. At 28, it's one of the bands that has really cracked it since the 1980s began. They're from Dublin, Ireland. You know who I'm talking about. U2.
Well, those guitars are certainly a dead giveaway who that is, aren't they? Big Country, and From Here to Eternity. Something off the Peace in Our Time album. That goes out to all the members of the unofficial Big Country Fan Club who I was just talking to just a moment ago. Luxembourg leads the way.
It's a 208 featured record of the week.
Which mega famous person is quoted as saying, I don't know anything about music. In my line, you don't have to. You'd never believe it, but who was it? Well, if you said Elvis Presley, you were absolutely right. Can you believe Elvis would say something like that, can you?
All right, then. Come on, clever clogs, engage the brain, put on the thinking cap and work it out. First, the facts. That was the year that was when Pink Floyd say no more singles. Alan Freeman and Pete Murray rejoined the 208's program listings. And Frank Zappa asked Ainsley Dunbar to join him. Deep Purple are in the charts with Black Knight.
You're a single champ.
Well, that was that then, wasn't it? Short
short but sweet. I would think Michael gets one or two big surprises. Every month he goes to the mirror and sees someone different, you know.
Being a stylish, erudite young woman, you know, but also for being the voice of a nation in the world.
Well,
you see, and that's part of it here, but now you've made me blow it and say it ahead of time.
The voice of Paul Young, who used to record with the fabulous wealthy Tarts, but everything must change, so Paul changed from backing female vocalists to 3 male ones, and that was the first record he ever recorded with them and took into the charts Every Time You Go Away.
You know, the biggest pop happening so far in this decade has been the British Band-Aid venture by Bob Geldof and Midge Ure to raise money for Ethiopia.
And the amazing thing about the whole venture, they set it up in just 2 weeks, the entire organization. Midge Ure is even now with us. Hello, Midge. You've just been involved in this incredible Band-Aid single.
No, I have, yeah. It actually started off as a bit of a dream, really. You know, Bob Geldof from the Boomtown Rats phoned me 2 weeks ago with an idea of doing something for Ethiopia. And Bob is an awful talker. I mean, he's got the gift of the gab.
Well, he's Irish,
He is Irish, and he uses it to his best ability. He's fabulous. All these people, everyone who had ever said anything bad about anyone else in the music business, was there in that room, confronted with everyone who had said bad things about. So it was fabulous.
Good on you, fellas. So are the members of the British pop industry who actually combined to raise money for Ethiopia. We congratulate and salute you.
Hey, listen, don't get any on you, but it's all in here tonight.
There is only one Rupture. Luxembourg hit the 90s, yet again setting the trends. Broadcasting via satellite to Britain and the whole of Europe. New voices, new jingles, and a whole new approach.
Tilly.
Radio Luxembourg, the world's most famous radio station. Here we are, banging them out and doing our thing with the world's best music, guaranteed, on the Astra Satellite and Worldwide Show Wave, 15.350 kilohertz. Nick Hayward, Love All Day.
Radio Luxembourg's fame has been the inspiration behind certain records recorded by the stars we played, like this from Godley and Cream. song all about Radio Luxembourg from Godley and Grim. And now we come to the current lineup on satellite Radio Luxembourg.
Yeah, right. China Crisis and Wishful Thinking now. And, hiya, it's me, Mark Page, on Radio Luxembourg, Friday nights. Up there, lovely, all the way from Merseyside there. They had a few hits, but what happened to them now? I mean, that's the thing. All right, China Crisis there, and Wishful Thinking.
Making the cake of success.
Radio Luxembourg.
Radio Luxembourg is on the Station of the Stars.
And this is Chris Holmes here. Hi.
Tomorrow, oh yes. Can't talk because our sound is I don't know the ending.
Yes. I do for you.
You know Brian May plays a guitar like that fella from Queen. Radio Luxembourg, the Station of the Stars, on satellite and worldwide on shortwave. Good evening, this is Jonathan Miles, the puppet to the strings of life's cruel charade. If you want a simple life, then this is for you. A pollution-free environment and general harmony have made a Tibetan village the place to live if you want to enjoy basically a long, healthy life. Nobody has died in the village for 50 years. Its oldest resident is now 142 and still going strong. And another 188 locals have recently celebrated their 130th birthday. I bet the discos are fun.
The best music, 24 hours a day, satellite radio Luxembourg.
Now, if you'd like a tongue sandwich, simple pimple, ladies and gentlemen, write to me, Wendy Lloyd, The Tongue Sandwich, Radio Luxembourg, 74 Newman Street, London, W1, or fax me direct to our grand old duchy out here on Luxembourg 42 44 55. People, of course, try to be very subtle and serious when talking about the fact, of course, that Freddie Mercury died a year ago today. Not Rock World magazine, I have in front of me a copy of the current edition, and there's an article in there simply entitled The Year of Fred Being Dead.
Great Britain, crank it up. Tony Adams is kicking out another hour of the world's best music.
They're called Texas, but they come from Scotland. No, I still can't quite work that one out. But I like the sound. I don't want a lover. On the world's most famous radio station, live from the heart of Europe. In fact, the Grand Duchy of Luxembourg proudly presents Radio Luxembourg with the Tuesday Adams Experience, and just in time for that, the most pervy of purple people.
Tomorrow is today. Radio Luxembourg.
Had quite a good ring to it, that, didn't it? That most pervy of purple people, all the P's, including the name. My name is Prince.
And these are our lyrics for today. I'll tip my hat to the new Constitution, take a bow for the new revolution. Smile and grin at the change all around, pick up my guitar and play just like yesterday. Then I'll get on my knees and pray. That song with the fabulous string in it. Also, what is called Give Me a Ring Now in 353-1381. Luxembourg 1381. First one through gets a Luxy t-shirt. The Beaten Generation from the That's a track on today's classic LP Mind Bomb.
Who is number one?
My
Thank you. You know, it's when I hear applause like that I realise I am working far too cheap. Welcome along, Hollysides. I'd like to say a quick thank you to Jody. Actually, I've just found out why Jody moved from Cincinnati. Apparently, she couldn't spell it. On the musical menu today, we've got a star profile. We've got a wonderful competition giving you the chance to win a weekend for two at Euro Disney. See Mickey and Minnie. You can take me with you if you like. There's your chance to be a DJ, and I'll be taking your calls on Luxembourg 1381. All this and more sponsored by Hollis Creations.
When it hurts, because commercial radio. your station, Radio Luxembourg.
Well, that's the history of Radio Luxembourg. Over 59 years worth. I think it's appropriate to call on the voice that opened the Station of the Stars all those years ago. Here's Stephen Williams.
Well, my very first words on Radio Luxembourg, I was the first Briton ever to announce, this is Radio Luxembourg. And I'm afraid today it's rather a case of, this was Radio Luxembourg as far as the station that we knew is concerned. We'd known it for over half a century now. Well, before we actually sort of say goodbye, let's just say thank you to all the people who've worked in Radio Luxembourg. There have been an awful lot. I couldn't possibly name them. There were too many. But there have been a few outstanding ones.
Just kneel and say, thank you, Lord, for my work and play. I've tried to be good, for I know that I should. And that's a prayer for the end of the day. Music was my first love, and it will be my last. Music of the future, and music of the past. To live without my music would be impossible to do. World of troubles, my music brings me Music was my first love, and it will be my last. Music of the future, the music of the past, the music of the past, the music of the past.
over yet. 26 minutes to go on this, our final broadcast, making history. Time now for a few words from our General Manager, Mr. John Catlett.
Thanks very much, Mike. Perhaps it's a good time for me to remind all of our listeners that Radio Luxembourg and what it is today is not simply the fine team of presenters that you've been hearing tonight and on the documentary that Mike Hollis and Chris Holmes put together that you've just listened to. Essential to this station are the technicians and engineers of CLT, the people at Astra who provide the signal sharp and clear, as well as those who are tonight providing the signal on the old 208. And those who have supported and helped the radio station both in Luxembourg and London for so many years, including some staff who gave tremendous years of service to the station. Josie Wampak, John G., Jill Rowe, Rodney Collins, Ted Bailey, Christine Robinson, Mike Knight, our program controller of the last 5 years, Jeff Graham, and Lisa Wade, who now manages the Lonely office in London. We also want to thank, in just this past couple of years, our advertising agency in London, Little Leighton Sobchak, the Muff Murfin Productions, who helped produce our terrific jingles and also provided the merchandise that we've made available to our listeners. We have to apologize to so many listeners who've written in asking about QSL cards and T-shirts. We have many hundreds of requests, and the problem is no staff after today to respond to those. We thank the journalists who helped to publicize this radio station, the European Satellite Users Group and Eric Wiltshire, who helped to promote satellite radio. It's a tremendous group, and perhaps we ought also to thank, apart from those many radio stations, television, cable systems, and satellite media services that have been carrying us this evening, thank our competitors who may hire some of us in the near future.
The satellite is almost put to sleep.
I blame you for the moonlit sky and the dream that died with the eagle flight. I blame you for the moonlit night when I wonder why are the seas still dry. Don't blame me for the satellite. Did we fly to the moon too soon? Did we squander the chance in the rush of the race? The reason we chased is lost in romance, and still we try to chase all the way for a taste of man's greatest adventure. Oh, I blame you for the moonlit sky and the dream that died with the eagle's flight. I blame you for the moonlit night when I wonder why are the seas still dry. Don't blame me for the satellite. Have we lost our
got the hits. An appropriate record, I think, for the final night's broadcast. Tasman Archer, former number 1, and Sleeping Satellite. But without a shadow of a doubt in my mind, the greatest husband and wife team in radio, especially Radio Luxembourg terms, but in radio in general, has got to be Stuart and Ollie Henry. And we're very proud to have them both with us tonight on our final broadcast.
You are a sweet talker, Michael. You did, can I say, on behalf of the entire staff, you were the best program director we never had. You put that tape together superbly. Thank you, I did enjoy it. Thank you. Long overdue. I did enjoy it.
Stu, I enjoyed doing it as well, and I must say that I'm gutted tonight, to be quite honest. It's the final we're into the final 18 minutes before the nails go in the coffin. But how do you feel? I mean, you were here long before me, and...
Well, I look about me and see the studio, and I remember what it was like when I first came here to Luxembourg, and we sat in a room round a ridiculous octagonal table, and we had 5 buttons in front of us, and the records were all played by a rather bored engineer through the glass. And if we got an A-side, we were very fortunate. And if we got the mic open, by the end of the record, we're even luckier. So this is a tremendous thing that we have advanced from these ridiculous days to this lovely studio with all the equipment. Only to close the ship down is ever so sad.
It is really, yeah. I better say a quick hello to a lady we all respect, and she does more than anyone could ever dream of doing in normal person's terms, and that's your wife, Ollie.
Yes, well, she's hiding. You see, she has this ridiculous thing about not talking. And I haven't got you on the radio. I really haven't persuaded you to talk. You're breaking the equipment up. But it is good to be able to sit beside you. Talk.
You're a dream girl.
Oh, it's just like the old days. It's just a disc jockey, even a retired one, shouldn't be lost for words. But tonight has been... Oh, it's been fun, it's been amusing, and it's been very nostalgic and sad. But it has been a pleasure, and it has been a privilege to work for Radio Luxembourg. Well, they're closing it down, but they can't take away from us our memories.
Very beautifully put. You say everything that I think, but no longer have the words to vocalize. Thank you, darling, for being here. And thank you for putting up with.
And can I just say thank you to RTL for actually helping us through a difficult time with Stuart fighting MS. I think RTL was very supportive, and that's how we managed to go on air together and work together, which I think has given us some of the best years of our lives. So it's a pity we're shutting down, but at least we have some reason to be grateful. Yes?
Yeah.
Stuart and Ollie, thank you very much indeed for joining us. It's made the night without a shadow of a doubt. And
of course it has.
We salute you both.
Radio Luxembourg, 208, Great Britain.
15 minutes countdown, and there's going to be a lot of sorry people about, methinks. Former employers, employees, disc jockeys, backroom staff, tune to this program. 15 minutes and it all goes away. Here's a record that was made all about Radio Luxembourg, Van Morrison.
Than a man. I am down on my knees at the wire.
In the days before rock and roll, Van Morrison, I'm hoping to speak to my former boss, the one and only Tony Prince, right after this.
Probe is turning on the people with Three Dog Night. Probe Records announce a sensational new album from Three Dog Night entitled It Ain't Easy. I know you ain't July, see through me. Already established as one of America's #1 group attractions, Three Dog Night proved themselves yet again with this fine new album. 9 songs, including Probe is turning on the people with Three Dog Night. It Ain't Easy, a new album from Three Dog Night. Out of sight.
Okay, after 59 years of broadcasting, this is it. The last night. Very, very sad, but I'm very pleased to say that I've got on the telephone my old boss, Tony Prince. Hi, Tony.
Less of the old boss, mate.
Young boss, little boss, the boss, the only boss.
Well, those are the new clothes I'm wearing now, Mike.
Well, I tell you what, Tony, the jingles haven't improved, have they? Anyway, listen, it's a very, very sad night for all of us here, and I know that you, with your 208 round your neck, will be thinking about us tonight.
Yes, I will. And I just want to say to all the jocks on the station, all the staff, I wish you all success in the future. I know you're all great broadcasters and all got great careers ahead of you. And although it is a sad occasion, we discussed this a year ago, I kind of took the blow then, that the idea of Radio Luxembourg is pretty well, at the end of what it meant to us. But in many respects, we've got to look back on the station with happiness rather than sadness. Sadness because it's all over, but certainly happiness that, it pitched in so much in our lives, and for so many people over so many years.
Sorry, I know you not only with a quiet round your neck, but drive a 208 number plate as well.
Right.
The lucky man himself. When was it you actually joined the station, Tony?
I joined in 1968 when the pirate ships came to an end in August 67. I had about 6 months working for the top-ranked dance halls, and then Radio Luxembourg offered me a job, and I joined them for 16 years.
Did you not have a break in between the 16 years?
I took a year off once to try and become an actor, which was a bit of an ambition of mine, but that was very early on in the period. I was with Luxembourg till about mid-69, and then I left for this year. I got on Coronation Street, I was in the Lovers, but they kept typecasting me as a DJ, so I said to Christine, my wife, one day, listen, I can make more money being a DJ than acting being a DJ. Let's go back to Luxembourg, and as good luck would have it, they welcomed me back, and we had a further 14 years together.
Well, I'm glad you're back where you belong, behind a microphone in pastures new.
Thank you, Radio Luxembourg, on behalf of many people for many happy years of broadcasting.
Long live your memories, Tony, and ours, and thank you for employing me.
Thank you, Mike. You were a great employee.
Thank you.
Stairway goodbye. La 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 la. Now we go our separate ways and leave the world we used to know. A scratchy, worn out 45, an echo on the radio. The twilight days are over, those days of me and you. Now we know that breaking up is really hard to do. This will be our last song together. Words will only make us cry. This will be our last song together. There's no other way. We can say goodbye. La 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 la. La 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 la. This will be our last song together. Words will only make us cry. This will be our last song together. There's no other way. We can say goodbye.
It kind of says it all. All right, everybody, time to say goodbye, Luxembourg.
From north to south, from east to west, the folks who want the best, listen to Luxembourg, the great 208, ring-a-ling, swinging station of the South.
It's time to end another day of broadcasting originating from our studios in the Villa Lavini in the city of Luxembourg, Luxembourg, Europe. We hope you've enjoyed this evening's programs and that you'll join us tonight on 208 meters in the medium wave band for more music at 7:30. This is Paul Burnett on behalf of the entire staff and management of the English service of Radio Luxembourg, including DJs Kid Jensen, Dave Christian, Bob Stewart and Mark Wesley, wishing you a pleasant good evening and good morning.
Well, that's how the Luxy legends used to do it. This is for real. 10.5 years ago, I didn't dream I could be here to carry out the final words on the close down of the world's biggest and most famous commercial radio station. I'm both honoured and sad to say a fond farewell and goodbye after over 59 years of broadcasting. So on behalf of the present Luxy team and all the past presenters and staff, this is Mike Hollis saying thank you, and may Radio Luxembourg live on forever in your fondest memories.
Maybe the morning will find us. The morning will bring you together, making the whole world more beautiful than let your elders now look where the preachers think of the pain of those long early years. Look well at your parents now. Look well at the teacher. See how good times
Nachrichten mit Alexa Georg. Rückendeckung. Uta Würfel hält Rücktrittsforderungen an Möllemann für verfrüht. Bestätigung. Der Start-2-Vertrag wird am Wochenende unterzeichnet.